Hello, and welcome to a Homespun house. My name is Molly, and thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to spend with me and to hang out and relax. It's Sunday here in Berlin, Germany. We have just come in from a bit of time outside, just relaxing, and we went for a walk and we went to the park. I feel like on the weekend that has really become our sort of routine that we're doing all the time. And it's just really, really nice. So, yeah, we went to the park. We brought some fresh fruit from the organic store, or Bioladen, as you call it in German. And played for a while. Ruby napped most of the time, so that was really nice. And then we came home and had a really nice, warm lunch. And now Elodie is doing some Bügelperlen, or perler beads, they're called in English, which she loves. I talk about them often. And Robert's just hanging out with Ruby a little bit, and Elodie, of course. They're all in the living room together. So I have been doing a bit of knitting. I don't even remember how this happened, but I don't know if you guys, well, I know you remember. My Cyborg Craft Room socks. Yes, none of the ends are woven in yet. But last week I had shown these to you all, and I was really thrilled to have knit them up quite quickly for being as busy as I am. I think I finished them in a little over a week. It might have been 8 days. And I had raised them up to show you, and one of them was shorter than the other. So I can't even remember where we went this past 2 weeks. But we went somewhere and I took these with me and nothing else. I had thought about taking another knitting project, but I know how I am, and I thought, you know what? These socks will never be done if I do not take them with me on a day that I kind of need to have knitting with, where I know I'll have a bit of time to knit. Now I'm really curious where in the world we were. But yeah, I thought I need to take these with so that I can get them done. And I ripped them out ahead of time so that it was completely ready to go. I ripped them out and I didn't stick the needles in because there wasn't time for that. And while we were gone, I finished them. And I am so happy that I did. I love these. These are Cyborg Craft Room. There's no nylon content in these. It is a 100% superwash merino. And I just think they're really pretty on a thumbnail. It looks like it was a bunch of bright colors overdyed in gray. And you can see here it kind of looks like a little bit of the gray didn't get on that piece of the yarn. But they're really pretty. I like them. Like I've said before, they're very autumnal and they're soft and squishy, and this is her Space Oddity colorway. I got it so long ago that I don't even know if this is a colorway that she dyes, or if it was a one of a kind. I have no idea if she still has this recipe in her dye books, but I haven't worn these yet. Obviously, there are ends that still need to be woven in. I feel like, who was it? Was it Sue? No, it had to have been Chelsea from the Legacy Knits podcast. It was one of them, I think. I think it was Chelsea who was walking around with her massive string hanging out of her sock. One thing that I wanted to talk about is I have noticed through Instagram and through podcasts that there are a lot of people who have this big string hanging out of many projects, and then they kind of have it looped and wrapped, where it's just like this massive loop hanging out of their projects. And I am curious why. Why do you do that? I honestly, every time I see this, I am really confused why there is this extra overload of string. Is it because you did a long tail cast on and your tail was way too long, so you just left it there? I don't know. I grew up knitting with my grandma, and my grandma has always, if she would cast on, for example, a pair of socks, and she would have anything longer than this she would rip it out and recast on again. And that's what I've always done. I kind of have an eye for socks. I kind of know, about how many to cast on. And these were, how many? These had to have been 56 stitches on a 2.5 millimeter needle. This sock yarn is a little bit thicker, and that's the standard that I normally do. I have now kind of started to do some socks that are 64 on a 2 millimeter needle, which is a US 0, I believe. And I really, really like that with different sock yarns. I obviously enjoy the quickness of knitting a 56 stitch sock, but I also find that the 64 stitch sock it doesn't seem like it takes that long either. I mean, I haven't done that many socks in that. That's what I usually do for Robert socks on a 2.5. And I've knit and finished one pair for myself on a 2 millimeter needle. Yeah, 2 millimeter needle, and I'm working on my second pair, which I'll show you guys in a little bit. But so I was just confused about the massive overload of string that I've seen on sweaters and socks and hats and cowls and shawls. Why don't you just cut it off or not cast on with so much of a tail? But like I said, maybe that's kind of more of a beginner. But I've seen it on people who have been knitting for a very long time. And I guess it can be hard to know how much to cast on, how much to leave for a long tail cast on. But then again, like I said, why not cut off that excess? I could never knit with this massive wrapped bow. It just wouldn't work for me. So I never have mine longer than 6 to 8 inches, unless it's like an underarm, or unless it's a place where I know that I will need to maybe mend a couple of pieces together. Although, okay, I'll talk about that a little bit later. So these ones are finished. I'm really, really happy and pleased with that. So I then picked up my patchwork socks. You can see the other one behind me. I don't have to show you both. Well, I will show you both, but I won't take off both sock blockers. So here's this one, and this is just a mishmash of indie dyed yarns and opals and regias, and then my Homespun House Fog colorway, and it was just a lot of fun to knit. I don't know if I will knit one of these again for a while, just because I don't know. It was fun to get out of my system. It was really enjoyable to knit a patchwork sock, but yeah, I still haven't woven in the ends, of course. So there are many, I think 24 ends in this sock. So quite a bit. And I'll just have to sit down one evening and put on a podcast or something and weave in the ends. And I know that once I do it, it will take no time at all. So I, again, like everyone else, has complete sock fever on the brain. And I am just loving knitting up these socks. So I think last time I spoke, I maybe had a round or 3 rounds of the cuff, and I was really confused as to why I thought I had knit down to the heel. So I'm happy to have those done. They're very different. I mean, they're quite similar. I used the same yarns for both of the stripes in each of the socks, but still, because some of them were self-striping or very variegated, they turned out different, especially these 3 sections, or these 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. So this sock right here, the one behind, is much more saturated with pinks. So, of course, when I finish a pair of socks, what do I need to do? I need to cast on another pair of socks. So in my wonderful Lowland handmade bag, Lowland Originals, it's a handmade bag. This is such adorable fabric. It's really, really fun. Quite vintagey looking, I feel like. Teacups. And it's a nice boxed bottom, and it has this really cute pink and cream striped fabric in the inside. And this reminds me, I don't know if any of you were into American Girls when you were younger, but this reminds me of a dress that Addie wore. So often when I see it, I'm thinking about that. And you can see I have, this one is Ruby's little hat because I stuffed it in there while we were at the park. I ended up putting a hand knit hand knit bonnet on her that Olivia from this Handmade Life made. Olivia, if you watch this, we love the bonnet that you made. You made two. The purple one is too small now, but the white one is gorgeous. We love it, and she wears that really, really a lot. I wish I had it with to show, but it's got to be in the living room. So let's see, what do I have in my in my knitting bag from being out at the park? I have a hat. I did bring along a mandarin and a plum. Those are gone. They've been eaten. I brought out a little thing of rice cakes. They're really, really thin ones, and they have sea salt on them. I love these with Streichcreme. I don't even know what that is in English. I had never even seen this until I moved to Germany. It's kind of like a pasty cream. And it comes in many different flavors. You get it at the organic stores, and they have, right now I have Tomaten und Rucola, so tomato and rucola. Or no, it's ricotta, I think, so ricotta cheese, and it has just sunflower seeds, and it just kind of has a bunch of really delicious fresh things inside of it. You can get them in many different flavors. Beet, you can get a Mexican variety, which has different spices and tomatoes and things like that inside of it. So you can really put it on anything. It's delicious. I also have some choco buns in here. This has got to be one of my favorite chocolates. I don't even know. They have little pieces of hazelnut inside of them. So fine, teeny little pieces. It's really funny because when I first came to Germany, I don't even know when, 9 years ago? Yeah, it had to have been 9 years ago. When I first came to Germany 9 years ago, I don't even remember how I met this one girl, but there was this German girl who I met, and she made me this insane birthday present with German Berlin things, and I didn't even know her. Maybe I met her through the au pair, mom that I was working for. Sorry, I'm watching all of the kids playing outside because we have floor-to-ceiling windows, and I can see everyone outside, and they're two really cute little twins and their big sister playing together, and they look so sweet. But anyway, so she had given me this bag of chocobons, and I thought they were disgusting. I thought they were one of the weirdest, grossest things. And now when I eat them, I'm just like, how did I even think that? They are, I don't know if you can get chocobons in America. I'm sure you can, because in America you can get everything and anything. But I don't know if this is a very, or Canada, or wherever you're from. I don't know how available these are. But they are delicious. I have these on hand often. Sometimes I send them in packages from my shop. I love them. I just suck on them and the chocolate melts. And if you guys love chocolate, I'm sure your mouths are watering and you are like, send me, just stick one through the camera, because they are delicious. Delicious, delicious. So what else do I have? Okay, so I started to talk about a pair of socks that I'm working on. I have these in the best, most amazingly wonderful DPN little cozies made by Danny of the Little Bobbins podcast, who finally podcast again with her mom. That was wonderful. Don't we all just love watching Danny and her mom? One thing that I wanted to talk about, I've had so many people ask, and so many people who are extremely curious about what in the world has happened with Danny and my meetup. Did we meet up? Why didn't anyone say anything about it? Why hasn't there been a podcast? Everyone just, I feel, kind of got sick at this point. I know Danny was a little bit sick. David was sick. Elodie and Ruby got really sick, and it just didn't work out. We definitely are really good friends. I would definitely say Danny is one of my best friends. She is, for those of you who watch her podcast, I'm sure know from watching her, but she is just amazing. She is such a good, genuine person, and I enjoy every minute that I talk to her each day, and she's just, I'm so grateful to have her as a friend. So we haven't met up. We cannot wait for the day that we can. I'm now just kind of waiting for summer because I feel like the girls would be a lot healthier then. Elodie still has a cough, a really bad cough, and she's having an allergy test this Thursday because we've noticed that lately when she's been eating milk, she is breaking out in hives. And so we've completely kicked all milk products out of her diet, and we're having her allergy test on Thursday. So I'm not looking forward to the test because she has to get her blood drawn, and I'm a little bit nervous that will make her really, really frightful of needles and doctors. You know, she has received vaccines before, but I feel like she's too little to remember that. And now they have these special Band-Aids that she'll put one on each arm because they're not, you don't know exactly where they'll take the blood, and it numbs the area for the most part. So we got some of those from the apotheca, or the apothecary, and I'm hoping that it helps because she doesn't know she's getting her blood drawn. She thinks she's getting a shot because I feel like if I told her they're taking blood out of your arm, she would be very nervous, and she doesn't need to know that. So yeah, I just want to wait until the summer, and the coughs are gone and croup season is over, because we did have a bout of that. I think it was 3 weeks ago. Elodie had croup and she had to get a steroid because she couldn't breathe, and it's just scary. It's just terrible, and I don't even like to think about it. It really, really stinks. So anyway, on a lighter note, I have a new colorway that I dyed. Let me grab a skein of it so you guys can see how it looks in the skein. So, oh no, I don't even know if I have any. I think all of it has been sent out. I do have a couple. Don't you guys love listening to me talk and not being able to see me? So I have some dyed up on Jeunesse fingering. And this is what it looks like. It is, Jeunesse fingering is our single base, by the way. It's 100% single ply superwash merino. It's gorgeous. It's a fabulous base. And it's this beautiful light pinky peach with teeny specks of red and blues and greens and brown. Just an overload of different colors and tones of those colors. But I love it. It's inspired by The Notebook. I think that's the only movie I've ever watched with Robert and he's cried during. Robert is really emotional. Like, he's definitely an emotional guy, but he's not the kind of guy who will just freely cry by any means. I think that's maybe the only time I've seen him cry. I've seen him get teary-eyed, but I'm going to put this over here because I don't want to be bumping the camera around. So anyway, this is how it looks knit up. And I am knitting these on Carbons. I forgot that I'm using the Carbons. That's insane. So I'm knitting these on Carbons, and these are 2mm needles, so size 0. And this one I decided to do 64 stitches. So the Volan Vine yarns that I knit with the Pandora colorway and her Blitzed sock yarn, I knit it with 64 stitches on Magic Loop, and I feel like the Magic Loop loosens my tension a little bit, and it was just too, it's a little bit looser of a sock, and I feel like This, I almost have the same exact gauge as I get with my 56 on 2.5. So I'm knitting my Molly Weasley's Family Socks with this. It's a pattern you can purchase on Ravelry. And it's just a really, really fun textured pattern. These haven't been blocked yet, so once they're blocked, you'll definitely be able to see the texture a little bit more. I think this texture works all right for speckled yarn. I definitely think it's best for variegated or a tonal, or I even think a self-striping would look fabulous with this yarn. And I decided to do this sock without the contrasting cuff and heel, but I'll do the toe contrasting. I haven't decided what colorway yet, so that will be fun to choose. And this is my soft sock base. I really wanted to knit something in it because I feel like when you are dyeing and selling a base to customers and people, you really want to be familiar with it and know it, and really that's when you can make the decision if you think it's a really good base. And I definitely feel like this is a good base. It's super soft, but it's, you know, sturdy enough to stand up to a sock. It is a 75/25, I think, superwash merino and nylon. It's one of my newer bases, so that's why I say I think, which is kind of embarrassing, but I'm quite sure it's a 75/25. It is. So I have my sweet little German Brezel hanging here. I often have people who don't know me or who don't knit, if I'm out knitting, I use this one a lot, tell me that they think it's cute. So yeah, this one's almost finished, and I'm just having a lot of fun knitting on it. And I'm really loving the Carbons again. I have not used the Carbons double points in so long, and I've been using the Zings, and these are so, when I took these out to use them, I thought, whoa, those are really pointy. I really, really am just so curious about Chiagu and Addi Turbos. I have a question for you guys. So I would love to try some Addi sock rockets. And I've searched them here in Germany, but they're not called sock rockets in Germany. I don't know what they're called. I asked Tina and she didn't know either. So if any of you Germans know, what is an Addi sock rocket? What would I search for? Where would I buy those here in Germany? Because I don't know, and I desperately want to try a pair. So let me know so that I can go on Amazon and quick prime those over to myself. Can't Amazon Prime be so dangerous? So dangerous. So I'm looking forward to choosing a color for the toe and starting the next one, and then deciding. I lately have just been getting so much of a thrill out of choosing new sock yarns. I have no idea what the next colorway I'm going to knit up is. I do have a new colorway. Let me get up again. I do have a new colorway called Tutti Frutti. And I have this on the sock base. Okay, it's definitely a 75/25. I see it right here. So this, I think, is going to knit up so freaking fantastic. I think this would make an amazing pair of, why can't I think about what they're called? It's the sock pattern that everyone is knitting with these little flowers on them. Fine and Dandy socks, I think. So I think this pair would make a gorgeous pair of Fine and Dandy socks, and it's called Tutti Frutti. Did you guys ever eat that Tutti Frutti gum? That's what it was, right? Gum? This just reminded me of it, and so I thought, it's so squishy. I love the soft sock base. It seems so strange having these new bases in my shop and not having a name for them. I did have a base in my shop that was a 50/50. It was non-superwash yarn. It was a baby alpaca and BFL, and that was called Dorheim. I don't know if I'm going to sell Dorheim in the shop anymore, so I'm thinking about reusing the name Dorheim because it is such a special name for another base of mine. And I feel like Dorheim would definitely fit my soft sock base. So we'll see. I have to think about that a little bit more. For now, soft sock is definitely fitting. I'm very, 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 very highly considering retiring the Olsen base. I would love some feedback on that, but I'm thinking about not dyeing on that one anymore. I still have yarn to dye in that. I think I have 170 skeins of that left. But I'm not sure if once those are finished, if I will be dyeing it anymore. So that's the Tutti Frutti. I'm considering casting some socks on with that, just because I feel like it's just a really fun summery colorway, and I think it would make a really fun, bright and cheery pair of socks. That is not a self-striping sock yarn, just so you know. I do not dye self-striping socks. So here is my cake, which looks a little bit, woo! Yarn down, which looks a little bit insane. And I would love to finish that sock today. That would be very exciting. So the next thing that I am knitting on is something that I showed you guys last week, and I could cry. I love this project so much. And it might sound weird, but I'm not even kidding about crying from enjoying the knitting on this so much. I'm sitting on my featherweight cardigan, and it is not comfortable. I have a D-pillar, and this is knit out of Kristen's yarn, Full and Vine, in the Fairy Hair colorway. It looks like a wrinkled mess, but definitely needs to be depelled. Isn't that gorgeous? It's her Volca base. I wear this so much, both of my featherweight cardigans. They get a lot of use. So the next thing that I'm working on, I started to say, is in my Fawn and the Fox project bag. I love this. I'm sure you guys don't know that. With my sweet little brooch. So these will be going up in the shop very soon. I'm thinking about, I would love to sell them with some kits. I feel like they are so special. They're made by my Grandma Sue, and I just feel like they need to be paired with something. When I visited my Grandma Sue in December, when I visited my family, when all of us did, she had given me a bunch of stuff, for the shop to sell. She said that she would sell it, and it would be her Germany fund for coming and visiting. That's where the profits would go towards. And I haven't listed those yet, just because I felt like it was the wrong time of year, and all of those nice and warm things will be going for sale, I would say the end of August. So I'll talk more about those in August, obviously, but I could definitely see the brooches going up sometime. So I had started to knit the Willard Fair Isle pullover by Henna Fettig, and I was knitting it, I was knitting it in my Dale DK yarn let's grab a skein, in the Barley colorway. So this is it skeined up. I love this. I just listed a bunch of this on the Jeunesse Fingering, the single ply yarn. So I've already gone through 2 cakes of this. I ripped that entire thing out, and I feel like I've made wonderful progress on this. So this is completely my own design now, what I'm doing. This will not be anything I will write up. I'm definitely, at this point, not designing sweaters. I can see maybe a couple sweater designs in a couple of years, but at this point, no. So I think that this will be quite, it will be like this sweater. It will be loose, So I did do the tubular cast on for the neck because I raved about how much I loved that. I have the sleeves bound off. I just did a normal standard raglan, and I have about, let's see how many more centimeters. I have a little marker here, and I know that after the marker I need 6 centimeters more. So I just need 6 centimeters, or about 5.5 centimeters more. I have these super amazing stitch markers. Yeah, let's see if you guys can see it. I ordered a ton of I made a ton of these for the shop. They're all different donuts and cakes and cookies, really sweet ones. These ones are actually my favorite. They just look like really sweet little cake donuts. And I have this one as a stitch marker. I love it. It makes me so happy every time I go around and see this. So if you guys want some really fun little donuts, or they're €3, so they're 50 cents more than my normal charms, just because they're made out of resin and they're a bit more expensive. The little charms themselves, but they're so fun. They're so fun. There's a fun variety of them in the shop. So yeah, I have to do this, and then I'm going to do the ribbing at the bottom. And I haven't decided how long I'll do the ribbing. And this is definitely more of a cropped, not super cropped, I guess, but it's not like a long sweater. It definitely won't cover my bum, but yeah, it'll just kind of go at my hip, my waist. There's a little black thing in here. It looks like a little fly. Oh my goodness. Elodie and I were taking a bath together the other day, and there was this teeny little fly flying around in the bath, and our bath was filled with bubbles. And we were just watching this fly around, and then all of a sudden we started to talk, and I looked, and I said, oh my goodness, Elodie, the fly is in the bubbles, and she looked at it, and it was dead. So it drowned, in the bubbles. It got caught in there and couldn't move and died. And so I picked it up, and I put it on the side of the bath, and Elodie she stared at it. And I'm sorry if I'm talking weird, by the way. When we were at the park yesterday, Elodie and I was pushing her on the swing, or I was trying to get her up onto the swing. So I was picking her up, and as I picked her up, she jumped, and she jumped into my chin, and my tongue was between my teeth, and I bit my tongue so hard. It's not so pretty. So it really hurts on that side of my mouth when I'm talking and my teeth are touching it. So sorry about that. But anyway, the fly. Maybe I'll knit on this because it's stockinette. It's super simple. So she would just stared at it, and she said, oh, it's so sad. It's so sad that he died. How come he did that? Why didn't he know? Why did he go into the water? And then she just stared at him, and she said, I just wish that I just want to be his friend. And it was really weird. Like, usually when a fly dies, or if I see a fly in like my washing water or something like that, I don't even think twice about it, really. He was flying around and he went into the water. Okay, I don't even think that detailed about it. But when she said that, and the sadness in her voice, and just the compassion that she had towards this little fly, I honestly felt the feeling of sympathy for the little fly. Maybe some of you guys think I'm being ridiculous right now, but I don't know, the thought that she had as a child, how much compassion, not all, but many little children have. It's really, really neat and really fun, to have children and to be able to experience and relearn and think about those things. So I know it's been said before, but we can learn so many amazing lessons from our children. So I am loving, you guys, I am loving every single stitch of this yarn. I know this is my yarn, and I wouldn't sell a base that I am completely head over heels obsessed with, but I am in love with the Dale yarn. I can't get enough of it. I want to knit everything in it. My next shawl design is definitely going to be in the Dale fingering yarn because I love it. I enjoy knitting with it so much. It's just fantastic. I have Dale in DK fingering and Aran weight. I'm more so selling the Aran weight in the fall and winter. I haven't sold it since last winter. And I have a ton of it. I just got a bunch of it in stock. So I will definitely be dyeing up on it this week. If you guys have custom orders, I do custom orders. But you do have to be ordering 2 or more skeins of yarn. So yeah, if any of you are interested in the Dale or the Soft Sock or Jeunesse or Olsen or our Bakken base, the Stellina base that we have, I'm definitely open to doing custom orders because I know sometimes there can be a specific colorway that you want and it goes out of stock quite quickly. So even while I'm dyeing a lot, it's something that I'm open to. So you can just email me at homespunhouse@gmail.com. I have my little rosewood needles. Oh, I could sing about these as well. I love the Knitter's Pride or Knit Pro rosewood needles. I don't know if I've really seen anybody talk about these, but I love them. They're so nice. If you like to knit cotton, this isn't cotton, it's 100% non-superwash merino, but oh, this is just, that could make a really nice pillow. I love this sweater. I love this yarn. Okay, anyway, I'm going off subject. But this is a really, really fantastic, cool needle stopper. I got this from Amber. Thank you so much, Amber. I love this. It is so perfect for knitting sweaters and cardigans and things like that. It's perfect for anything with a double pointed needle. Shawls, I'm sure if you stop mid-row. So in this bag, I have one of my fun little Notions pouches, and I've been using it. So what do I have in this one? Crochet hook, an old vintage one for picking up, you know, stitches if they fall down. An EOS lip balm. And my little chibi holder. I have some chocolates in here too. You never know when you're going to need chocolate. That's all I have to say about that. So I put my fun little Deathly Hallows stitch marker on here. I do have a lot more of the Deathly Hallows yarn. I have that on Jeunesse, and then I have it on Soft Sock, and all of my Harry Potter Club yarns will be sold with their stitch markers. So that's how you will be getting them. And yeah, those will be up in the shop tomorrow, I'm guessing. All of those yarns. So I have another project. I was just about to go into shop update, but I have some more stuff that I'm working on. I picked up my Cozy Memories blanket again. Is that not fun? So after watching Sue and Chelsea from the Legacy Knits podcast, which I love. I absolutely adore their podcast. Their podcast is one that when it comes up, I am like, how can I find time to watch this right now? What can I do work-wise that I can sit down, maybe label yarn, maybe make some progress keepers and watch them? And they are super into their Cozy Memories blankets right now. And I thought, you know what? I want to pick up some of those really fun mini skeins. I also got some fantastic mini skeins from Amber. Thank you so much for these. I think they're so fun and so different that I think I could just do an entire row with them because I really like to do different yarns next to each other. And these are very high contrasting, so it's a lot of yarns that I haven't knit with before. I think almost all of them are companies that I haven't used. So I see some Dancing Dog Dye Works, which is really cool because I've heard so much about them and I've never knit with that yarn. I think this one right here is a Dancing Dog Dye Works. So that would be fun. Thank you so much, Amber. I love these. And she also gave me this gorgeous little notebook from Jill Draper Makes Stuff. And these truly look like they're like she drew them on, but that's wonderful. So I love those little notebooks. I use a lot of little notebooks when I'm dyeing or packaging orders and things like that. So I knit 4 squares on my blanket. I knit this one, this one, this one. This one is from Amanda, I know that. And then this one is my In Bloom colorway on the Dale base. So those were all a lot of fun. I just need 2 more until this row is finished. It's so satisfying to finish a row. And this side has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 stitches, 14 squares across. So let's see how far it is the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it's 14 by 14 right now. I've had so many people say that they imagine my blanket is so huge. It is quite big, but 14 by 14 isn't that massive. I mean, my squares are quite large, I feel like, or maybe more so medium-sized. But it's really fun. It's been a lot of fun taking some minis that I've been working on and putting them into my blanket. I will be having mini skein sets super soon. Here, let me try and see if I can pull out my little box. I can't. Sorry, you guys, but I will be having mini skein set up in the shop very soon. I've been dyeing all of the yarn lately. So let's show you guys what I have. I'm so sorry for getting up and down 1,000 times. So I have I've been dyeing on the Dale DK and on just lots and lots of different bases. So I have a couple really fun, cool colorways that I am honestly pretty stoked about. So I'm just going to show you guys a couple. There's this new colorway that I've dyed up that's a tonal colorway, and it's called Jellyfish. And I just think this is such a fun contrasting piece for any shawl. I even think it would make a really cool pair of socks. Obviously not on the Jeunesse single ply base, but I really like that one. I have Let's Be Friends. That's the one I want to knit my next sweater with. I have lots of Chakura on sparkle fingering. I dyed up some, this looks like quite a mess, I still have my tags on there. Some Piper on the Dale. I have Berlin, let's skein this baby up for you guys. I have some Berlin Sunrise on Dale DK. Or no, this is Dale, just normal Dale fingering. So Berlin Sunrise. I have a bunch of Half-Blood prints on Soft Sock sparkle base. I have a lot. I really honestly have a lot. I can't. I have a bunch of yarn behind me, tons of Mermaid of the Black Lake underneath of that. Is a colorway that I haven't dyed up for a very, very long time, and it's called Woodland. And there's a ton more. There's so much yarn that has to be added to the shop tomorrow. I definitely have my work cut out for me. I don't even know how many skeins. Hundreds! So yeah, it was really fun to chat with you guys again today. I was a little bit nervous that I wouldn't be able to find the time, but I'm so happy that I did. You know, to sit around with you guys, drink coffee, which is always getting cold because I forget to drink it on the podcast, but it was really, really nice to be able to chat with you guys and catch up and say hello and let you guys know what I've been up to. Don't have any crazy plans for the upcoming weeks, really. Just working, enjoying dyeing, knitting. I would love to have my pullover finished by the next podcast. I feel like soon it will be so warm that I won't even be able to wear it. But right now it will be nice because it's starting to get warm enough. I'm thinking in the next 2-3 weeks that we won't need to wear a jacket. And I think at that time just a nice cozy pullover to put on for a little bit of extra warmth will be perfect. Oh my goodness, one thing that I wanted to talk about that I think really stinks that I didn't talk about it until the end of the podcast is the whole springtime Stellina knit along. I would love to have that knit along just be a knit along that we're doing all summer. I think that would be, maybe it can be called springing into summer or springtime summer Stellina knit along. Something like that, because I feel like the spring and summer are the most perfect time to be knitting with glitter yarn, which I guess all time is total glitter yarn. Okay, so let's do that. Let's start this springtime summer Stellina knit along and knit with fun glittery yarns. I sell a lot of them in my shop. There are a lot of other shops that sell Stellina yarn. Yarngasm or Woolen Vine sells beautiful Stellina yarn. Her base is called Blitzed. I'm just calling mine Sparkle right now. That is definitely not what it will be officially named. And yeah, so definitely be hitting up Woolen Vine and asking her for some Stellina yarn. Or use what's in your stash, of course. There are a ton of other indie dyers. I know Nomadic Yarns has the most beautiful self-striping Harry Potter yarns, which are making me drool. I'm not the most, I haven't really knit self-striping socks so often. I don't really knit so many self-striping, socks. But she's really, really tempting me. She is really, really tempting me into the world of self-striping. So, if you like Harry Potter, if you like Stellina, I would say go and check out her really fun Harry Potter themed yarns. So, yes, let's do that knit along together. I'll open up a thread in Ravelry either today or tomorrow. And I can't wait to see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye.